Why are we here?
Talking about MGT.
I know everything about it. What do you want to know?
Everything.
I don't really know that much.
That's why we have
Cristaldi.
Cristaldi.
It's gonna be a long episode.
Yeah.
Like, what about MGT? Like,
I want to know how it's made, start to finish.
okay, we can do that. So here's where MGT started.
Wood.
Wood. All this is probably going to be espresso, which is like half of all the orders for MGT. That was very, very popular. This is kind of a hot mess, actually. Yeah. So this is step one for pretty much everything. So this is a rip saw. This has 4 blades in it. It's this little black hood up here.
Yep.
Camera. So as a board runs through those, picture of the board pops up right here. You can actually see this is the last board that went through the machine. You see there's like dark edges on the side. Those are defects. So it can see large cracks, knots, things like that. It highlights the defects and excludes those from the parts. So we put in what we want, and then it scans it and gives us the best yield possible from that piece of wood. And then the blades move into position, spin it through.
So the term rip,
Yeah.
does that mean it's going with the grain?
With the grain.
Yeah.
Okay.
A rip always goes with the grain this way,
Okay.
and a chop always goes across the grain. So that's ripping.
Step one.
That's step one. That's how
Done.
ripping works.
Step two.
Chopping. So at the rip, we make carts of these.
Long boys.
And actually, you can see stacked up back here, these are all the carts that have come off rip. These are staged, ready to go into the chop. Hex tray. Probably get 3 slats out of one of these.
That's not MGT.
That's not MGT. We don't need to talk about that.
We don't want that.
How's it going over here?
Doing well.
So we're just walking through, explaining all the different, how you make an MGT part. Starting with the board.
Starting with the board.
So we did rip, and now we're at chop.
So over here, yeah, we get the next job, which is taking down the length. All of our cheat sheets here with every single length listed on it for every particular part. We chop it down to that length. We send it off to either get glued up or sent over to the planer.
You can't guarantee how many defects and stuff that you're gonna have to like cut out.
No.
How can you guarantee you're gonna get the right length for what you're trying to get out of that run?
You can't. And that's why we have to drop like a whole bunk of lumber, and then we have a list of what we need, and basically we just have to run until we get enough of what we need. You know, a bunk of lumber will come in 12 feet or 10 feet. You'll get like a vastly different yield based on like the length of the lumber that comes in.
Now you can like request a certain length, but then the cost goes up because you're being picky. Every time you make your choices more narrow, the more the cost goes up.
And you're getting less.
And you're getting less. That's one of the reasons we had to run like, we always run over too. You always had to like run a waste factor. We run like a 30% waste factor just to make up for like that problem we're talking about. Like, oh, we just lose a foot here, we lose a foot there, goes in the trash. Yeah, it's sad.
So this is Purple Heart, which almost never has any defects.
The exotic woods that we use are fairly dense, very tight grained, so you don't usually have a whole lot of defects in them. And you've got something even just as small as that right there, something that used to be a sap pocket or a knot. You might want to cut something like that out, so you'll mark it. There's a laser eye inside of there that runs the entire length of the board. It reads all of those marks that we put on the board, and it'll determine how many pieces of how many sizes we can get out of that particular board.
Got it.
Before sending it on its merry way.
Technology.
I know.
It's fancy.
It's pretty clever.
You always use this color? Because what if you're doing like Paduke? It's already orange.
It still shows up.
Still gonna get it?
True, yeah, I guess.
Someone tried explaining to me that it's the reflectiveness, not necessarily the color. I don't know if that's true.
Something to do with fluorescence.
Fluorescence.
And now that I'm saying that word, I don't even know what fluorescence really is.
But you could point it out.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if I could. Then they get staged over here. This is like the in-feed to the automatic glue rack. Right after here, there's like a decision tree. We have 2 glue conveyors. One's for panels and one's for thickness. This is a rail. We have one that glues up big, wide face glues to make rails.
Yeah.
And then we have another that does wide edge glues to be topper panels.
That makes so much more sense.
Yeah. Aren't there usually 2 people working on this? Oh, let me do yours. Do the smart job and I'll do your job.
I'm gonna walk to the front of the machine. I just need you to press 5 and 2 on the computer.
5
All right,
and
I
2.
got you. Ready?
I'm gonna get this stick And I'm just gonna put it in here when something moves. There's a little conveyor that goes across right there and a little laser dot that goes over the top of them. It's measuring the height of each individual stave and then adding up the width.
We're told the computer we want to build a panel that's 13 inches wide. So it goes like, all right, all these different boards. I'll take rows 1, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that'll be 13 inches. The boards come out, go over this, which is a glue roller.
Yeah.
So the edges of the board get glue on it.
So these are just toppers, and legs get done over at the other one.
Correct. Yep, you're getting it.
All right.
After it comes out of either the clamp rack or the chop, it comes here, which is generally means it has to get planed for thickness and then go to the other clamp rack. That's what the toppers look like when they come out of the clamp rack.
It's so ugly.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It's so ugly.
Those came out over there. We see how much nicer they look when they come out.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's much better.
Yeah, so that's what it looks like coming out of the clamps. It's uneven. You can see it's like there's steps right there. You run it through the planer and it comes out nice and smooth. Hey, how's it going?
Doing all right?
What are you planing?
These are card shelf mounts.
Hard shelf mounts. So you know that accessory? Hooks into the MGT, spins around, it's got the panel on top. So this is the bottom piece. So yeah, these came out of the clamps, and you see they're gluey and uneven because we have to glue them up extra wide because we know they're not going to glue up perfectly. We're planing them down to the correct width.
We do thickness first, that way we can try to group them together. And that way they try to stay as square as possible.
This thing's cool because this has a planer on the top and the bottom.
Yep.
So that means you just have to throw it through once and you get to do both sides. Step 4 for these. Cool. So we made some sticks, we glued up some sticks, we made some sticks thinner.
And that's all to just make the product basically stronger.
Every time you glue together stuff, you're making it more stable. Wood just inherently doesn't like to be flat.
Yeah.
You have to machine it to be flat.
A lot of furniture makers, if you're building a table, you're gonna stock like 3 or 4 different thicknesses of wood. And that's a lot of like inventories to manage and like different thicknesses to source, and it can be a problem. So we decided instead we're only working with one thickness, 4/4. If we need something thicker than that, we're gonna laminate them together to make the thicker blocks.
Molder's probably next.
Molder is next. So the planer has 2 cutters on the top and on the bottom. The molder has a cutter on the bottom, the side, the top, the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is how we shape our aprons and shape our legs. So they're not just rectangles, you can put different shapes and profiles in it. What are you setting up for?
Armrest.
Armrest? Okay.
Perfect.
Right now I'm setting up the actual measurement on head 3. That's going to set up the profile for the bevel on our armrest. Every head has an axial and a radial measurement. The radial is going to bring it closer or farther away from the bed, while the axial brings the head up and down.
Yeah, it starts with one on the bottom here, so it cuts the bottom, and then this side, and this side here. This is the one, I don't know if you can see it, this is the one that puts like the shape on the armrest. You can see like the shape of the cutter down here.
Oh yeah.
Grab the rail one, the one that does the top of the rail.
Top of the rail.
Right?
This is one of the scarier looking heads.
I know, I wanted to get like a big one with lots of stuff poking out of it.
So on the rails we have those 2 channels that we have in from the top of them.
It's where the metal strip slides down. So these saw blades cut that groove.
Oh, yeah.
That's it right there, nice and perfect.
Right.
You'd have to do that in like 4 or 5 separate operations if you're using individual machines.
Just getting the heads all started up. Each button is represents each head. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 6 heads. We got to start them in sequence. Set the side pressure so it stays against the fence, so it's not wobbling back.
Yeah.
Full square rectangle when it came in. Now it's got the main bevel, chamfer on the top, chamfer on the back. Pretty much finished all the way around.
Acceptable. It's a little bit of snipe.
Yeah, when you said snipe, I mean, if you feel that, Matt, you feel a little bump right there?
Oh, yeah.
That's called snipe. When it passes the cutter, it shifted in a little bit and cut a little bit deeper on the end than it was supposed to.
Right.
So now that's the trick, is now going through and fine tuning all the pressure rollers and everything a little bit to try to eliminate all this snipe as much as possible.
Damn.
Okay, so we came out of the molder. Where are we going now? Jump saw. Jump saw.
Jump saw?
Yeah.
All right.
They call it that because you know, if you think of like a chop saw,
Yeah.
like the blades at the top, you like pull the handle down to cut stuff. This is much safer. The
Great.
blade is always like underneath in a cabinet, completely hidden.
And it goes
then
up?
it jumps up.
Ah.
So it like swings up from the bottom.
Got it.
So we're gonna put the piece of wood under there. It's gonna drop down, clamp the wood in place, but this is hollow. So the blade goes up and into this thing and then back down. So you never actually see it. Pedal operated.
Oh. It's so quiet.
Yeah, it is. All the parts come by here to get cut to their final or near final length, depending on what the product is.
So like legs right behind you are final.
Leg blanks, when they go through the molder, they go through as long as the lumber we have.
Right.
So you might get like a 10 or 12 foot piece of this.
Yeah.
And then it goes through there to get whacked to all the right size. Now they go to our custom built leg boring machine, because we've got very particular hole spacing for the hardware that we use.
Yeah.
And again, you could do it on CNC or you could set up a bunch of drill presses, but it's a lot of operations to do.
Yeah.
So we got this built, so you put this in, hit the button once and it drills 6, 7 holes, all in the right place at the same time. This is the only thing this machine can do. Like it's shaped to accept.
Oh, yeah,
exactly. As soon as I hit the sensor at the bottom, it clamps it in place. 3 that comes from this side, the other side, and then 1 that comes from the top. Now we got hardware hole. This is the mortise to accept the tenon in the end of the rail.
Yeah.
Hardware hole, and then we use that actually for holding it in the finish shop in Pennsylvania.
Oh, got it.
Because you finish it all the way around, so you can't lay it down, so we hang it by that hole in the top.
So on the MDT, there is rails that come out of here, and this is inside your table. You put this in here as a spacer block.
Makes it so it's flush with the inside of your table. Because otherwise there'd be a big space where that rabbit is inside the leg.
Yeah. So this is where all the rails come.
This is where all the rails come to M&T and this boring machine. It kind of operates as a cell. This is a bit M&T does.
Yeah.
Squares off the end, makes this tenon, drills this hole, drills these holes. These need to be really precise because this is where the hardware fits. It used to then also drill a whole bunch of holes all the way along the bottom.
Yep.
That took a ton of time. And now they get slapped in this machine, which the only thing it does is drill all those holes at the same time.
This machine is very high tech, very scientific. You load your rail in and line it up with this line that's drawn here. Don't get your fingers caught in the blade. Make sure you got some good pressure here. Let it go.
By adding this one machine to do that work for the M&T, it doubled the output of that machine. Somehow we still have all these rails here.
Yeah, even with the drilling machine, you can see like we would be a lot worse shape if we didn't have that.
These are all need to be done still.
All toppers.
Jesus.
There's like 3 or 4 more pallets stacked around the sander because we ran out of space.
MGT over here.
Well, what was MGT?
Yes, these were failed toppers that we're now turning into cup holders.
There they are.
Yeah.
Wicked hot potatoes.
Trademark that potato. That's my potato.
That's a Cristaldi original right there?
The original potato.
Nice. You open for commissions?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You only do potatoes?
Oh yeah, all kinds. Carrots, turnips,
Parsnips.
parsnip.
I take a parsnip.
I'll draw you a mean parsnip.
Yeah.